Now, there were a few raised eyebrows last night when the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, was announced as a guest judge on MasterChef Australia.
MasterChef Australia gave Meghan Markle the softest landing in television. Friendly hosts, a challenge built in her honor. Contestants told to cook something fit for a duchess, and it still was not enough. Somewhere between the trailers and the broadcast, reports say the show quietly changed how she was introduced. Something in that episode was considered too risky to air exactly as filmed. So what made the final cut and what did not? Because the moments that survived the edit are strange enough on their own, which raises the harder question. If this is the protected version, what were they protecting her from? The safest stage in television.
The Duchess of Sussex.
Oh my God.
No. Meghan Markle!
Meghan did not walk into that kitchen as a random celebrity guest. She arrived carrying a lifestyle series, a food line, jars, tea, honey, gift boxes, and a public image built around effortless cooking and elegant hosting. Of every set in global television, a professional cooking competition should have been the one that flattered her most. The production behaved accordingly.
We have a taste of what was cooked up in the MasterChef kitchen when Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex.
Contestants were told to cook something fit for a duchess. The kitchen slogan was reworked into "Make it sparkle" for Meghan Markle. The dishes were made for her, the ingredients chosen around her, the cameras following her. Royal biographer Tom Bower has argued for years, and this is his view rather than a settled fact, that the Sandringham summit drew one clear line. The Sussexes were not to commercialize the British royal family. Critics pointed to reports, so far unverified, that Meghan was paid for the appearance, that no charity was named as a beneficiary, and that the ducal title traveled into the segment with her. In fairness, no formal ruling has ever been published defining what commercialization means in practice, and a paid television booking is ordinary work for almost every other lifestyle figure alive. The objection is a reading, not a verdict, but it is the reading that shaped the reaction, and it means every editing choice in that episode carried weight before a single dish was plated. There was no mystery box waiting, no surprise ingredient, no expert demanding she demonstrate a technique, no format designed to catch anyone out. The environment had been engineered to protect her from exactly the kind of moment that ended up defining the episode. The first crack did not come from a hard question. It came from the easiest one in the room. One question, no answer.
And I love if there's a connection that you can find when, as you're cooking something, what is the story behind it? It almost feels like an heirloom, right? What is something from your family or from a memory, something sentimental that we can also taste as we taste your dish?
A judge asked Meghan to name her favorite dish to cook for her family. That was the whole question. No pressure test, no timer, no knife work. She did not have to cook anything. She had to name one meal. She said it was difficult because she had a lot of palates to please. Then came the categories. Harry likes meat, potatoes, creamy sauces. She prefers grilled fish, citrus, herbs, spices, a little heat, fresh, seasonal, balanced, no dish, no curry, no pasta, no roast, no family recipe anyone asks for twice. The defense is real and worth taking seriously. Media training pushes anyone with a product line towards brand language, and a guest under studio lights, aware that every syllable will be clipped, may genuinely reach for the safe register instead of the specific one. That is not dishonesty. It is habit. The trouble is that habit collided with the entire premise of her being there. She was not selling adjectives. She was selling food. They are perfect on a jar. They are not dinner. Then, the conversation slid sideways into how Australians pronounce the word herbs. And here is the first edit decision worth noticing. That detour survived to broadcast. A production with multiple camera angles and full control of pacing could have tightened the whole exchange, trimmed the hesitation, and cut straight to the pronunciation joke as a charming aside. Instead, viewers were left able to count the beat before the subject changed. Whether the original pause was longer is not something anyone outside the edit suite can confirm. What can be said is that the version chosen still shows the question going unanswered. If the simplest question produced fog, the follow-up went further. The pesto problem. Meghan was asked what she personally would make from the ingredients laid out in front of the contestants. This was her second open goal. She had already told the cooks to pick a hero ingredient, to build a story, to make something meaningful. Now she could show them how. She looked at the bench and suggested carrot top pesto, then pasta, then possibly fish, then several other options at once, the answer widening rather than narrowing, until one of the hosts stepped in with so many things and effectively finished the sentence for her. The guest was there to inspire competition-level cooking. The professional ended up steering the guest. A host filling a gap is not automatically damning. Presenters do it constantly, often out of kindness, keeping a nervous guest afloat so the segment breathes. It is a professional reflex, not an insult, but it is also the second edit decision. That rescue is a cut point. Any editor could have ended the shot on the pesto suggestion and moved on. Keeping the interjection in the broadcast means either the wandering answer left nothing cleaner to use, or nobody thought it read badly. Neither possibility flatters the segment. Two moments are still coming that people keep replaying. A routine time announcement that became a one-woman tour of the kitchen, and a slice of banana bread that produced the least controlled second of the hour. Subscribe so you do not miss them, because before the banana bread, there was the clock. The elegant time call. Normally, a host shouts the remaining time. The contestants flinch for a second and keep cooking. It takes 2 seconds and it exists, so nobody burns anything. Meghan said she did not like to yell, so she walked the room. Station by station, she told each contestant individually that 30 minutes remained. Eye contact, a pause, a response, a gentle explanation that she was telling them personally. The generous reading is obvious, and it is not wrong. Warmth towards nervous cooks is not a scandal. Plenty of guests would look colder doing it the standard way, and the contestants themselves seemed charmed. One person called it an elegant time call. Someone else compared it to ASMR. Yet the contestants were reducing sauces and watching their own timers while it happened. Each one had to stop, turn, smile, and perform a small private scene while the clock kept running. Nobody in that room was there for an experience. That is the tension the episode never resolved. A branding instinct kept arriving in a room where the clock outranked the mood. Then somebody baked her banana bread, and for about half a second, the instinct switched off. The banana bread face. One of the hosts made banana bread for Meghan, a direct callback to the loaf she famously brought during an earlier Australian tour. It was built to be the warmest moment of the hour. Easy applause, easy nostalgia. Meghan tasted it, and her first reaction landed flat. No instant beam, no burst of delight to match the praise saturating everything else in the episode. Her face appeared to tighten. A moment later, she asked for the recipe. That reading needs a warning label. Interpreting a face is speculation, nothing more. Maybe she was concentrating. Maybe the flavor surprised her. Maybe an audience already hunting for cracks found one in a frame and a half, which proves very little about anything. But the clip traveled for a specific reason. It looked uncontrolled in an hour where nothing else did. And that is the third edit decision, the most revealing of the set. This was the final cut. Producers had already reviewed every angle, trimmed conversations, shortened silences, moved reaction shots, and layered in music. A flat reaction is one of the easiest things in television to bury. Cut to a smiling contestant. Cut to the host. Cut to the bread. Any of those would have erased it. They kept it, which forces an uncomfortable piece of arithmetic. If that survived, what did not? Nobody outside the production can answer that, and it would be dishonest to pretend otherwise. But the question sharpened considerably the moment a crew member walked onto a live set carrying a phone. The call that changed the subject. Prince Harry appeared on FaceTime, mid-tasting. Meghan greeted him with "Hi, my love," and the contestants reacted as though royalty had teleported into the kitchen. Commentator Kinsey Schofield's view, offered as her opinion rather than as evidence, was that anyone would have to be a little foolish to believe Meghan did not know the call was coming. Television sets do not work like family kitchens. Phones get silenced. Cameras need positions. Audio has to be captured. Nobody wanders into a filmed tasting with a handset unless a producer already knows the shot. The counterpoint is straightforward and holds up. Reality television stages moments constantly. Every guest appearance is planned in advance. Every surprise is scheduled, and singling this one out is selective. Nobody should be shocked that a scripted feeling moment was scripted. So, the staging is not the interesting part. The function is. Harry's appearance solved a live problem. The cooking authority had been visibly wobbling for 20 minutes. The second he came on screen, nobody was thinking about carrot top pesto. The contestants were waving at a prince. The appearance was meant to establish Meghan as an independent businesswoman and food figure. The loudest moment in it depended entirely on the man who made her royal. There is a commercial contradiction stacked on top of that. Reports, again unverified, suggested her products were not readily available to Australian customers when the episode aired. If accurate, an hour of primetime promotion reached a country where most viewers could not straightforwardly buy the thing being promoted. Headlines first, distribution later. That sequence makes sense only if the real product being sold was not the honey or the tea, but the association itself. And it explains why the introduction mattered so much. If the association is the product, the words used to establish it are not decoration. They are the packaging. Change the packaging and you change what is being sold. Which brings us to the alteration that started all of this. The word that disappeared. Promotional material had reportedly introduced Meghan using the word royalty. On broadcast, according to those same reports, it was gone. What replaced it was longer, not shorter. She was introduced instead as a global icon, a philanthropist, a humanitarian, a business owner, and a woman known for her love of home cooking. Bigger praise, smaller risk. Read the swap again, because it is genuinely odd. The show still called her the Duchess of Sussex. Contestants still cooked something fit for a duchess. Harry still appeared on camera. Royal status was used throughout to make the hour feel like an occasion. Only that one noun was apparently unacceptable. Reports then claimed the host who used the original description was left deeply upset, allegedly reduced to tears, and reportedly wanted to contact Meghan directly before production stepped in. That claim is unverified. No public footage proves what happened off camera, and it should be treated as reporting rather than established fact. There are innocent explanations too. Legal teams review promotional wording constantly. A network can change a description because a lawyer flagged it, not because a guest complained. That possibility deserves to sit alongside the louder theory rather than under it. But the change itself is the fourth edit decision, and it reframes the previous three. A production willing to revise the introduction after promotion had already run is a production paying very close attention to how this guest was framed. Once an audience knows that level of care was applied to a single word, the flat banana bread reaction, the rescued pesto answer, and the unanswered dish question all start to look like what survived rather than what happened. What the edit could not fix. None of the individual moments were disasters. Nobody set anything on fire. There was no confrontation and no humiliation. What accumulated instead was smaller and much harder to edit around. A favorite dish that never got named. Feedback that stayed at the level of adjectives. A professional finishing a guest's sentence. A time call that became a performance. A phone call that changed the subject at the exact moment the subject was going badly. And a description altered before anyone could hear it. That is not a guest appearance. That is a managed operation. Meghan walked into that kitchen to prove she belonged in the food world. She left with viewers asking whether the food world was ever really hers. If this was worth your time, subscribe to Hollywood Yesterday. Then tell me in the comments, was the edit protecting Meghan or protecting the show?